See, it's possible to get things right and still be wrong. It's possible to get things right and still be wrong. There are people who want to be successful, and so they have what looks like success, but they do it the wrong way. There's people who want to be wealthy, and they gain that wealth, but they do it in the wrong way, and they end up finding themselves wrong. Let me tell you, I've not done either one of those two things, but I have gotten married. And when I got married, that's when I first learned that you can be right and still be wrong. Can I get a witness on this today? I'm going to need some help, all right? All right? We're going to get into more of this next week, right? You can say things that you might be right, but you might say it at the wrong time, right? You might say it in the wrong tone. You might say it with the wrong heart. So you might be right and still get things wrong. And what Jesus is really getting at this year is not for us to figure out how to fix ourselves, because we can make a lot of resolutions. We can set goals. We can identify bad habits and quit them and still find ourselves wrong because we've done it the wrong way with the wrong heart. If you go on to look at what the word, like the tense of the word, it's a present imperative active. All that means is that it means stop judging. It means it's actively, currently taking place on an ongoing fashion. But it doesn't mean that there's not something that you arrive at because you're discerning truth. It means don't be judgmental. Don't be judgmental. It means all the time, constantly judging everything. We're going to see a couple of ways that this plays out in this passage. One is this, that it says that, for the measure that you meet, it will be measured back to you again. This concept of sowing and reaping that comes. The measure that you meet, like if you're a judgmental person, if you're always casting condemnation on other people, not just discerning circumstances, but casting condemnation on other people, that same thing is going to be measured back to you again. We're going to look at 3 different ways. That means the way that stands between you and God, the way that you'll be judged, the way that stands between you and other people, the way that they'll perceive you, and even deep down inside, the way that you see and perceive yourself will be altered and changed by a judgmental attitude or judgmental spirit. It says he's full all the way up, which means that they're not the opposites of each other. In fact, what we see is that one is completely dependent upon the other. That if you don't have truth, you won't have grace. That truth has to exist. Without truth, there would be no beautiful grace that we love to sing about. It's kind of like this. How many of you love it? In fact, about 2 months ago, I got people sending me pictures and tagging pictures all over the place because there was the most magnificent rainbow right over top of the church. You remember that? Like, and you just love to see it because there it was in the sky, that beautiful promise that God gave to us. But what had to be present for there to be a rainbow? Rain with the sun shining through it, right? Those things, those realities had to be present, because if you didn't have those realities, you would never see the beauty on the other side. That's exactly how it is with grace and truth. What happens when people don't mature is they think that identifying what's wrong makes them elite. That's what happens in middle school. That's what happens in that age range, that when kids start pointing out what's wrong, what the teacher should have said, didn't say, it makes them feel better about themselves, right? And they are good at identifying problems, but rarely are mature enough to step in and fix problems. Well, people who don't mature are the same way. People who aren't mature, even if they have a lot of knowledge, they can put a lot of pieces together, who are really good at argumentation, are really good at picking people apart, situations apart, and rarely have the maturity to say, okay, and how can I step in to fix this or help to remedy the problem? It's a mark of maturity of someone's life that they can identify the truth and then pull out that tool of grace and say, oh, and here's how I can help. Do you see how that fits? That those who are really mature have a perception of truth that's accurate, but they also have a heart that says, and I can step in. Let me tell you, that's a mark of spiritual maturity.